The pork barrel scam, a nation betrayed. For many years, the Philippine government had a system known as the Priority Development Assistance Fund or PDAF, commonly called the pork barrel. Through this program, members of Congress were given funds that they could allocate to projects such as building schools, hospitals, roads, and other community programs meant to improve the lives of ordinary Filipinos. The intention of the fund was to bring development to local communities. Each senator and congressman had the power to recommend projects that would be implemented by government agencies and partner organizations. However, because of the large amount of money involved, and the discretionary power given to the lawmakers, the system was vulnerable to corruption. For years, many citizens suspected that the pork barrel system was being abused, but no concrete evidence had surfaced that could prove the scale of the problem. That changed in 2013 when a massive scandal broke open and revealed how billions of pesos of public funds had allegedly been stolen through fake projects. The controversy began when whistleblowers revealed the role of businesswoman Janet Lem Napoles, who was accused of orchestrating a large network of fake non-government organizations or NGOs. These organizations allegedly existed only on paper but were used to receive government funds from lawmakers' PDAF allocations. According to investigations, some legislators allegedly directed their pork barrel funds to these NGOs which claimed to carry out agricultural or livelihood projects. In reality, many of these projects were ghost projects that were reported as completed but never actually implemented. Senate of the Philippines Napoles' former employee and cousin, Bin Horloy, became one of the key whistleblowers. After being rescued by the National Bureau of Investigation in March 2013, Loy revealed documents and testimonies describing how the scheme worked. Investigations later suggested that billions of pesos had been funneled through these bogus NGOs between 2003 and 2013. Some lawmakers were accused of receiving kickbacks from the funds allocated to the fake projects. Reports also showed that several senators had allegedly channeled hundreds of millions of pesos in PDAF funds to organizations linked to Napoles. As more information surfaced, the scandal grew larger. Senate hearings were conducted to investigate the allegations and the case quickly became one. As more information surfaced, the scandal grew larger. Senate hearings were conducted to investigate the allegations, and the case quickly became one of the biggest corruption controversies in Philippine history. As media reports continued to reveal the extent of the alleged corruption, public anger grew across the country. Many Filipinos felt betrayed, believing that funds meant for education, healthcare, and community development had instead been stolen. The outrage reached its peak on August 26, 2013, when thousands of citizens gathered at Rizal Park for a protest known as the Million People March. During the protest, demonstrators marched carrying torches and a 2.4-meter tall effigy of a golden baboy or pig, symbolizing the pork barrel system and the greed associated with corruption. The protesters clearly expressed three major demands: the abolition of all forms of pork barrel funds, accountability in the use of public funds, and the punishment of all individuals involved in the scam. Speaking during the protest, Mary John Mananzan, a Filipino Benedictine nun and social activist, stated, "We reiterate our demand that all those who benefited from the pork barrel scam should be made accountable. It has become a cause of great outrage that the administration protects its allies implicated in the pork scam. Many protesters also shouted slogans such as, "Ibalik, isauli sa kaban ng bayan ang mga nakaw na kayamanan." Through this call, they demanded that the money allegedly stolen through the pork barrel scam be returned to the national treasury so it could serve the Filipino people. Following the public outcry, government agencies intensified their investigation. The Department of Justice and the Office of the Ombudsman filed cases against several individuals linked to the scam. Janet Lim Napoles was charged with plunder and other offenses for allegedly masterminding the scheme that diverted billions of pesos from government funds. Meanwhile, the legality of the pork barrel system itself was questioned before the Supreme Court. Critics argued that the system violated the principle of separation of powers because legislators were involved in the implementation of government projects. In November 2013, the Supreme Court issued a historic ruling declaring the Priority Development Assistance Fund or PDAF unconstitutional, effectively abolishing the pork barrel system. The court stated that allowing lawmakers to control the allocation and implementation of funds after the budget was passed violated constitutional principles. The Supreme Court's ruling not only abolished the pork barrel system but also set a precedent for greater transparency and accountability in public funds. Investigations and prosecutions of those involved in the scam continued, with the goal of recovering misused funds and holding officials and private individuals responsible. The scandal also demonstrated the power of citizen action, as the million people march and other protests were instrumental in pushing for legal and political reforms. Many Filipinos felt a renewed sense of empowerment, knowing that collective public outreach could influence government accountability and prevent corruption in the future. That's the end of our story about the pork barrel scam.